Welcome back to another unsolicited and uneducated football analysis by your friend David Valentin. This time we're going to be talking about something that happened last night where USL president Jake Edwards made some statements that may be impacting the future of American football and Canadian as well. What's the USL? The USL is the United Soccer Leagues. It's where my team was born. Orlando City was born in the USL, known as USL Pro back in 2011. Today, the league has split into different divisions: USL Championship, League One, League Two, which basically is the second, third, and fourth division of American football, soccer here in the United States. And also, starting next year, we are going to have a women's league affiliated with the USL. On top of that, USL is developing academies within their affiliated clubs. USL, as of today, works basically more in line with what you see in the rest of the world, minus the pro and promotion relegation. Now, one of the things that we have to say about the history of USL, USL is born out of a split differences between owners that wanted to work and affiliate themselves with MLS, which was the case of the ownership of Orlando City, and basically ownerships that wanted to go after MLS and challenge them for the first division title in the United States. And they created the new NASL. The old NASL was created in the 70s, died in the 80s. And while the NASL was an antagonist towards MLS, they picked the wrong time to do it. Had it been done before 2007, they probably would have won that war. MLS was nothing back then. And if you follow my vlogs, you have heard me before saying that David Beckham basically saved the league, brought money, brought attention, and now MLS is a giant that cannot be stopped. And now finally MLS is moving away from the old aging players to people that would really want to come here, use this as a platform to get to Europe, or perhaps make a career for themselves. And the fact that the United States national team, the men's national team today, has a host of great players who either went through the academy system here in the United States or played in MLS, or in some way, shape, or form were influenced by the league, tells you a lot about where we're heading and where we are right now. But USL always had a place in my heart because not only did Orlando City crown themselves the first USL champion in 2011 and repeated that feat in 2013, and not also did Orlando City won 4 regular season championships while three, while being in the league. Orlando City returned to USL or OCB, the reserves team returned to USL at that point before the split into the Championship League 1, League 2, and was there for 2 years, and then it returned into USL League 1 for 2 more years. So I have a lot of respect for the league, a lot of the things that are doing, spreading football, because MLS cannot be anywhere. MLS, their business model, basically they want to go after big metropolis, big metropolitan areas, big cities, because they figure, hey, big cities have big money, and we want to be big league, right? You don't the New England Patriots don't play in some small town in New Hampshire. They play in Boston, right? So that's the idea behind what MLS is trying to do. Meanwhile, USL, they concentrated on going after cities that have been neglected. when it comes to MLS. They in some markets they're going toe to toe with MLS, and they have managed to survive. I don't know how, but they have. And with USL League One and League Two, they're going after small cities in small states, in what in here in the United States we call flyover country, and they're thriving. So his statements yesterday, during the USL Championship. By the way, the Orange County Football Club defeated the Tampa Bay Rowdies, crowning themselves the 2021 champions. Congratulations to them. Two of the players, Powers and Alston, former Orlando City players, were with Orange County. So congratulations to them. He basically said that the schedule for USL was going to change from the traditional start in the spring, finish in the winter, to start in the end of summer, fallish, and finish in the spring, just like basically most countries in the northern hemisphere, primarily Europe. Over the years, I felt, and it makes very good sense, that when you have a league that has to play in North America, especially in the northern part of North America, winter, the harsh conditions and the snow precipitation is a deterrent. North America is 10 to 15 degrees colder than Europe. So the winters in Europe are milder considered to the ones in North America. And if you read in history, this is the reason why the first European settlements failed, basically, because the winters were so harsh. The European settlers were ill prepared because they felt, oh, okay, well, back home we do it this way. We plant our crops around this time. We harvest around this time, and they come here and it's completely different, completely. Really, really hard, and a lot of people die as a result of that. So that was one of the main reasons. The other one is going after the market share of the NFL. Has always been a deterrent for the growth of soccer or football here in the United States, because the NFL is such a juggernaut. It's the most profitable, the biggest league in the world, sports-wise. It is a monster. And leagues like MLS have shied away from going toe-to-toe with them, choosing to finish their tournament as NFL is gearing up theirs. And, well, the fact that some MLS teams play in NFL stadiums has proven that problematic if they were to run at the same time, because the NFL stadium is for the NFL team, and the MLS team will always have to put their games somewhere where they can fit them. And if you have seen games on NFL pitches after the NFL had their games, and I meant MLS games on NFL pitches, you still see the lines and the end zone. It's just really bad. Really, I hate it. It's not a good visual. But so they want to do that, and he also said that because now they have 3 leagues, with the possible introduction of a 4th one, they are probably thinking about going through promotion relegation. If they manage to do that, wow, because they may give MLS a run for their money. USL thrived when they aligned themselves with MLS. The League Twos, the 2 teams or B teams for MLS squads were we're playing in USL leagues. MLS was grabbing USL teams and promoting them into the league. Basically, USL was sort of like a testing ground for a lot of markets, including Orlando. And not only that, former players were going there to start their coaching careers. I mean, it was a good working relationship where both leagues were increasingly getting better. And I believe in that relationship, USL benefited greatly because NASL was always, while NASL had pointed their guns at MLS, but NASL was competing in the same markets, trying to grab the share of USL, and MLS helped them destroy that common enemy. And not only that, USL went and took the best teams out of NASL and absorbed them, and now they have taken two of the best teams to ever come out of NISA, a league that probably should be dying soon, if not being purchased by USL to make it a fifth league. Mark my words. They basically took Oakland Roots and Detroit City, two teams that have 10, 15,000 people show up to their games in basically what here in the United States will be considered non-league. And I have to tell you, this is probably the beginning of something great. I have always said that I'm a fan of my club, Orlando City. Not so much the league. I support MLS. I want MLS to grow because it's our first division league. But I gotta tell you, if USL keeps growing this, then my interest may be looking at USL, especially if they have a local team in my immediate area, or if they start trying to court MLS teams, trying to pull them away into USL, and that's obviously will be a thing for the future. But it's interesting as a football fan that now we actually have a league that is not talking about it. Is gonna do it. Is gonna do it. They are gonna be competing against MLS and competing against NWSL. MLS decided to create third division reserve league this year. Most likely it's going to be called MLS2. And the relationship is over. They already said, hey, we're going to be telling our teams that they have till, I think it's like 2024, 2026 to basically pull their teams out of USL and put them in this league. And the working relationship as of right now, it's done and over with. And with that said, USL now feels, well, we're strong. We have fans coming to our games. We are strong in our markets. We have soccer-specific stadiums being built by clubs in our league. They're completely different. The teams, they choose who they want as their apparel sponsor. They choose the designs however they want. And everybody's doing their own thing, just like everywhere else in the world. But MLS is like standardized, uniform, everybody, because, they're not independent clubs or franchises of the same organization. So I find it interesting. The president of USL, it's a contemporary of mine. He's about 2-3 months older than me. He's a Manchester-born Englishman who grew up in the United States, went to high school here, went to college here, played back in England in a bunch of teams that now are in the National League, League Two, and League One. So this is somebody that really knows football, and I think that they are very ambitious and they're doing it very smartly. So I just wanted to bring that up to you guys because I think in the next 5 years we're gonna see a war for the heart and minds of the American and Canadian football fan. There's already calls for MLS to drop the Canadian teams by some people because they feel that those 3 Canadian cities, those franchises can go to American cities instead, and that those teams need to go join the Canadian Premier League, which is another league that is growing, that is being stable, that is doing their thing, but talent-wise are nowhere near what MLS is. So I think this is going to be interesting. USL is a league that also has in its ranks a bunch of players that played in MLS. So like I said, it will be interesting to see the development of the implementation of the European calendar, as most people call it here in the United States, or the international calendar, and promotion relegation. Because if they do that and it works, then MLS has a huge problem in their hands, because they no longer are going to be able to say, we don't do it this way because the weather, we don't do it this way because Americans are not going to support promotion relegation. So I find that interesting. I hope that that you do too, and that you go and do your research. And of course, I'll be waiting to see further developments. With that said, thank you very much, guys. See you in the next video.